championship. Let's take it.
Yes, great. Yes, great.
Hello and welcome to the Thresher Football Show. I'm Dan Page alongside head football coach at Bethel College, A.B. Stokes. Bethel College through 6 games, getting ready to play divisional play in the Kessinger division, and it's when things matter the most. But first, the Threshers will have to meet McPherson this coming Saturday, and it's Fall Fest and a big weekend at Bethel College. Should be exciting Fall Fest football game. It's at 6 o'clock against the Bulldogs. And you can watch it on the KCAC network. I'll have the call this week for the broadcast. Bethel and McPherson, who's played a few classics in recent memory, whether it was too little points scored or a lot of points scored a little further back. But it should be an exciting matchup. We'll get to the Bulldogs later in this show. Let's wrap up the first half of the season for Bethel College as they're fresh off of a loss at Tabor 31-21, and it was a breezy day. It seemed in the first half, at least through the first 3 quarters, whoever had the wind was going to score, Coach.
Yeah, it did, but that was the day.
It was. Yes, it was. Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like, and I had seen it, the night before doing high school games, and it was just unbelievable how strong that wind was. There's a lot of positives that came from that game from your guys' standpoint, especially special teams. We'll talk about that as well. But man, that wind definitely helped a little bit with that scenario. But yeah, it was kind of a moment where you guys kind of a little bit of humility kind of sinking in with the first loss to Tabor since I think 2019. That was the Fall Fest football game back then.
Yeah, I remember that. I was a part of that one too.
Yeah, absolutely. Not trying to rehash bad memories, Coach, but Tabor got on the board first, 10-0 after the first quarter, and then it was like the wind switched to you guys, and then you started doing things very well. Tucker Smith had a nice 18-yard run on a kind of reverse type of play where he was in motion, jet motion, and then a couple field goals from Carson Sauceda. I had it at 46 yards, the first one, but officially in the scorebook at 45, and then a 54-yarder from Carson Sauceda with the wind, but it is now a school record. He goes down the record books as a sophomore, and he's worked extremely hard just to prepare for that.
Yeah, for sure, man. He's a hard worker, and he's got a good group around him as well. Mm-hmm. He had a good kicker around him last year, you know what I mean? And he's got great guys around him this year, and he definitely – You know this better than anybody. He doesn't shy away from moments like that. No, he takes what he does very seriously. You can just tell, there's times where he'll come up to me and we'll chit-chat a little bit, but I know, when it's time for him to do some work, he really focuses in. And so shout out to the special teams crew there for blocking, snapping, holding. Yeah. It all came together for you guys, and it's something that you never should overlook. So a record day for Carson Sauceda in that ball game, and it was Bethel leading at the half in that one, 13-10 at halftime. And then in the second half, Tabor got a few scores, a couple turnovers from your team in it, and then Trayvon Madison scores late in the game. There's so many things, whether controversial or not, on fair catches, on kickoff returns, things like that happened. They got a lot of pressure on your offense, and you guys, your defense was trying to get to the quarterback, and they blocked extremely well against you guys. Yeah, and we gave them a short field. Part of it, was in those quarters where they had the wind and, we would kick into it or punt into it or maybe go for it because we didn't want to punt and, run the risk of it, the punt dang near going backwards, right? With all the wind. But, they had a short field. I think they had 11 drives, I believe, and then 8 of the 11 were in their own territory to score. So, or on our side of the field, in our territory to score. So, that kind of stuff, it just adds up, and it's not a recipe for success when you're, for us. It's not a recipe for success to give guys short fields over and over again. But, I look at it as a learning experience. I look at it as something that right before going into divisional play, something that we can look at as a catalyst to say, hey, we really need to focus up and just tighten up and be the team that we're going to be, the team that we've practiced to be, all season and season long. And I'm telling you, Dan, I am excited. Like, I know it's I'd say it looks rough, like an extreme uphill battle, which it will be, regardless of if we were 6-0 or 0-6. It would be an uphill battle because we've got 5 tough teams on this side of the division. So we're but it's something. The loss to Tabor definitely, for me as a coach, it even refocused me, because the first 2 losses, I felt like maybe we had a hold on things, or if 1 or 2 things, if this doesn't happen, or if this doesn't happen, if we were with a backup quarterback against Kansas Wesleyan, so it was some things that I kind of was like, oh well, we could have beat these teams, but Tabor, I just felt like we didn't play well, and that was that's one of the first times, and I felt like we didn't play well. I felt like as coaches we could have been better. Like, I just felt like we could have been better all around. And you talk about humility, that's one of the first moments of being here. I think it's kind of similar to Avila last year. I just felt like, man, we didn't play well, and in that game it was a little bit of an anomaly, because I thought defense played really well against Avila last year, and kind of like Tabor, I think they played well, and being put in bad positions, not necessarily all by the offense, but by the wind, weather, you know what I mean? So, but we, those guys, they'll be the first to tell you, no, we gotta step up, we gotta respond in those situations as well, and that's how it is. Everybody, I challenge them to answer hard questions after the loss, and I feel like everybody's done a great job of looking internally and answering those questions. And I'm telling you, Dan, I haven't been this fired up to be a part of a football game in my tenure here at Bethel College. I'm fired up for Saturday. I know McPherson is definitely a great and opponent we definitely will respect, but I'm ready to see our guys go, and I'm talking about pedal, all gas, no brakes. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm ready to see our guys go and play and fly around and have fun. I took all the pressure off of them. I told them put it on me this week. You know what I mean? Because how people can be like, oh, now the games matter. Now, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. These are the most important games that are on our schedule. Make no mistake in that. They matter a lot. And I told those guys, for me, man, I thrive in those situations. I personally love it. I love being intense. I love driving the culture of it, driving the bus, whatever you want to call it, through the storm. I love it. I love it. And so I told all those guys, hey, winners just want to play. You guys don't worry about all the nonsense, all the stuff that being said about what you have to do, what you can do, what you can't do. Let me worry about that. Put that on me. I want to see you guys play. And that's kind of where we're at. So again, I feel like, if all goes well, I look back at this Tabor loss and say that one. The other ones, how some people say, oh, maybe this guy's what you needed. I didn't feel like that with the other 2. I felt like it just happened, and I think I might have said that on one of the shows. Oh, it just happened. And but no, this one definitely, for me, it feels more purposeful, and I hope that's the case.
Certainly. Just recapping the Tabor game a little bit, DJ Sears did not score a touchdown in the game. Yes, he threw one, but he did have a 2-point conversion that he ran in the game. That was important for you guys, but still one of the top guys in the country at rushing touchdowns at 10 on the year for the ball game. And then kind of just looking at other individual statistics, he threw for 113 and 16 completions in the game, and also rushed for 118 yards on 20 carries. Let's see, and then I mentioned Tucker's touchdown. Jacob Reyes had 5 catches. Trayvon Madison 5 catches. Guys stepping up when you needed grabs the most.
Yeah.
I mean, they were holding on to the football there for you guys. And then, Tate Seabolt leads the team in tackling with 8, Doug Ryder at 7. And you guys have a few tackles for loss in the game, and again, no interceptions in that one. So the 2 games where you don't have interceptions this year, your team has come up a little bit short. Yep. But kudos to Jackson Walker in the game as well. Really had to adjust his punt style.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And I thought he made the best out of that scenario, the best he could. So
yes.
Doing everything that he could in that ball game. So that kind of caps the Tabor game a little bit. Let's look at some other scores from the last week of play in the conference. It was Saturday, September 30th, and Friends had won 55-17 at Sterling. Evangel won 44-6 at Avila. Evangel's defense stepping up in Kansas City, holding a very good offense down. And then Kansas Wesleyan getting a win 10-7 against McPherson. Yep. That was a very defensive game, sounds like.
Yeah.
But, talk about, Tristan Szabo being a very good passing quarterback, which we'll talk about in a bit. But the Bulldogs held to 1 score on that day from Salina. And then Ottawa defeated Bethany 40-13, and then Southwestern defeating St. Mary 36-20. And I'll be honest with you, Coach, after our game at Tabor, I didn't even pay attention to any of those. I drove home, and I'm like, I'm going to have a better mindset, the rest of the day, kind of a thing. And so, but yeah,
I think we were probably on the same page. I think I didn't look at scores till the bye week. So.
It's a good thing it was the shortest road trip of the year.
Yes. I'll tell you what.
But yeah, so coming up in the second half of the season, you guys are home against McPherson, at Southwestern, and then back home against Friends, and then Bethany and Evangel on the road.
Yep. The
last 2 weeks of the regular season. So we all know what's coming, and it's time for it to finally unfold. We'll see what happens. Though at this point in the season, just kind of looking at some individual numbers, DJ Sears has thrown it for 556 yards and 9 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions. He's rushed for 730 and thrown for 10 touchdowns on the season. And then your leading receivers, Trayvon Madison, 13 catches for 235 yards and 5 touchdown catches. And then you got 4 other guys with at least 1 touchdown catch.
Oh, that's good.
Tucker Smith, Jacob Reyes, Mario Quintero, and Jaden Cartwright for the Threshers. I failed to mention 5 different ball carriers have scored on the ground as well, with KJ Christensen, Scott Greider, Tucker Smith, and Mario Quintero. All of those guys for the Threshers, and not to mention the guys on defense that have scored this year. Cade Miller with a couple pick sixes. So in this first half of the season, I was kind of looking at some of the defensive stats. He leads your team in tackling with 47 tackles and 2 sacks on the season. 42 tackles from Tate Seabolt. Jairo Castillo continues to have a great year. I'm not sure if this number is correct with 3 sacks, because I'm pretty sure I had him at more than that. But you go on the road, and some of the stats with double numbers get kind of skewed considerably. You'd be surprised in that realm of things. So Garrett Slater with an interception on the season, Darius Pamplin with 1, Brendan Sanders with 2, and Tristan Berger with 1 for the Threshers. And of course, we mentioned here earlier in the segment, Carson Sauceda making some field goals for you guys and continuing to do some great job from the kicking position, which is a very important position. I mean,
yes, it is.
You score more points, off that leg than a lot of things in games. So, no doubt he has come up big for Bethel football. He is 5 of 7 on field goals this year and 24 for 24 on extra points.
Yes.
So for 39 points total towards your season. So coming up big with the sophomore kicker Carson Sauceda. So, Coach, any final thoughts before we go into our second segment and talk about McPherson?
Well, no, man. I mean, I think coming into the season, obviously expectations are always going to be high, right?
Yeah.
And being where we are and seeing the resilience of our football program, I tell you what, man, they are something special. And I'm just, we're doing everything we can to make sure this second half of the season reflects that. for these guys. So.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what is expected, and that's what you probably expect of yourself as well. So I think everybody kind of has that mindset going forward. So that's the first half of our show here on the Thresher Football Show, getting back into the swing of things after taking a week off. But when we come back, we're going to talk about Bethel College and the McPherson College Bulldogs for a Fall Fest football game at 6 o'clock. You can watch it on the KCAC network if you can't make it out. We'll be back with more of the Thresher Football Show when we come back.
Thresher fans, get ready for the upcoming school year by becoming a member of the Bethel Booster Club. Your membership impacts all athletic programs by paying for experiences last year, such as the Threshbees Award Show, postseason experiences and postseason tickets, the Hall of Fame banquet, enhanced live streaming equipment, new banners in Thresher Gym, equipment for the Gearing Hall weight room, windscreens at Ward Tennis Center, and Thresher Stadium. Be a part of Thresher Athletics history and a booster club that is living out the Bethel College Athletics mission by creating life-changing experiences for our student athletes through 4 levels of membership plus parent and young alumni specials. Athletics is an integral part of the Bethel College experience, and thanks to your support, we look forward to growing our success for the future. Visit BethelThreshers.com/Booster Club to become a member today.
Welcome back to the Thresher Football Show. Dan Page alongside head football coach at Bethel College, A.B. Stokes. Bethel College getting set to play McPherson College in the Fall Fest football game at 6 o'clock from Thresher Stadium this week. You can watch it on the KCAC network. Or if you don't want to watch it, you want to make it out, I mean, you should, because it's not just football game weekend. It's Fall Festival, and leading up into it. And by the time this airs, it'll be way past Taste of Newton and all that. But, it is quite the time at Bethel College, and something that everybody loves every single year. Try new foods, and hit up the Bethel Barbecue Club. That's what I did last year. I had to throw down on some barbecue for them. So you can get some Veronica, all that good stuff at Fall Fest. And to learn more, go to bethelks.edu to learn more about Fall Fest. Happens every single year. And every single year, it's the same day as a football game. And I remember back in 2019, Tony Hoops was giving a tour, and he's like, eventually we're going to have a locker room over here, and here we are. So it was pretty cool. A lot of alumni in town as well. So hope you all can make it. But this airs on Saturday morning, so you still have time to make it. So if you're thinking about it. But it should be an exciting weekend and an exciting matchup as Bethel takes on McPherson in football action. And some other games before we get to Bethel versus McPherson happening this week. Southwestern is at Friends. Should be a big game to watch on the KCAC network. Sterling's at home against Tabor. Avila is at home against Kansas Wesleyan, a big one there right out of the gate. And St. Mary hosting Ottawa, and Bethany hosting Evangel. A lot of 1 o'clock games. I believe you guys might be the only evening game. I'm not sure about Friends. It's not listed here.
Yeah, I think we are, because, once you get into October, a lot of games, most games go to early afternoon kick.
Yeah.
But with Fall Fest is always...
Yep.
We're always one of the last teams to play a night game because of Fall Fest.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember a couple years back, the Bethel Southwestern game, I think it was 2020, and it was November, and I was wearing shorts outside, and it was a night football game of all things, because I think it was supposed to be Fall Fest that year, and because of some safety with COVID-19 at the time, that they elected not to. But hey, I mean, it was a great night nonetheless that year as well. So Bethel and McPherson going at it. Bethel has had the upper side of this matchup. I think every year, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. Last year it was a very close ball game down to the very end, and you guys were able to pull off a 14-13 victory the years before. At McPherson, a late night weather game on a Thursday, and where Bethel was able to shut them out. And then the year before, Bethel had just kind of, scored a lot of points in that one as well. So it was definitely something to remember in those games. And then way back in 2018, your first year here, it was a track meet. Yeah. I think between points and yardage, a lot of records were scored.
Was that 18 or 19?
I think it was 18, because 19 would have been a different game, because I remember talking about it my first year, that it was I think both of them were home games in 18 and 19.
Yes.
Because, and so I think because I missed out on the 18 game where they said all these, points and yardage, was accumulated in that one. So it's always fun when Bethel and McPherson get together, and it should be an exciting matchup this week as the Threshers take on the McPherson College Bulldogs. Kind of previewing the Bulldogs a little bit on the season. They're having a pretty solid year. Tristan Szabo is their quarterback, and he's thrown for almost 1,700 yards and 18 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So he's quite the passing quarterback. He's grown so much since you guys played them in the first game last year.
Yeah.
We were trying to, figure out, a little bit of what he did well, and, they had a great running back last year, but passing seems to be the name of the game for the Bulldogs in this season. On the ground, they still do have, about 12 touchdowns on the ground to 18 through the air, so you kind of see what they can do. Szabo also has 3 rushing touchdowns. Bryson Kirby's their top runner, a sophomore running back, 300 yards rushing for 4 touchdowns. And then Hayden Fry, another player in the ground game that can do well for them with 2 rushing touchdowns on the year. In the receiving core for the Bulldogs, Traven Lewis Johnson with 22 catches for 421 yards, 4 touchdowns. And then Alex Hill with 4 touchdown catches. Tyson Bochert with 3 touchdowns. Harley Blasky, 3 touchdowns. Burns Lewis, 2 touchdowns. They have guys that can definitely catch it.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Like they like to spread it around.
Yeah, spread it out and test you. It's kind of like, I talked about what Kansas Wesleyan has done against Bethel in years past. Spread it out and, test, see, as how good your coverage can really be. So looks like we're going to get some of that this week. And then on defense for the Bulldogs this year, Marquise Willoughby with 55 tackles, playing really well, 7.5 tackles for loss. He has also an interception on the season, and he kind of really stands out on the defensive side of the ball for the Bulldogs as they come into this game to take on Bethel College. And, what better way to start divisional play than picking up McPherson at home, Coach? So what do you see when you guys as a coaching staff look at McPherson?
I mean, they're good, you know what I mean? But McPherson is a team, they've always been kind of right there in the conference. They've always been knocking on the door of being one of the top teams in the conference and playing people well. And I think, that this is a year where they feel like, they figured a lot of things out as far as who they want to be, and with the whole, especially with divisional play, they're kind of a lot like us coming in, after a loss, but still feeling like, they definitely can make a run. You talked about, I think it was Willoughby. He's definitely a guy that you got to be aware of, and with Tristan, the quarterback, I mean, one thing that Kansas Wesleyan did, they were able to get some pressure to him, and that's why it was such a low-scoring game. So, we're hoping that we can do something similar, getting some pressure. That's something that has kind of been a focus of our defensive staff, is that we want to get more pressure on the quarterbacks. We feel like we have good DBs, but the quicker our front six can get to the quarterback, the more opportunities those DBs are going to have to make plays, especially turnovers. I think, when we're getting pressure, we're doing well. We have guys who can get the ball. You know what I mean? So that's what I see from McPherson. I know they're a really, really good team, but I'm super excited just to play. I'm just excited to play them. I know they're a great team, great opponent. It's going to be a great night. It's Fall Fest. I love Fall Fest. You know what I mean? I'll have family in town, so I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely a great week and a great opponent coming in. The Threshers and McPherson College from 6 o'clock from Thresher Stadium if you can make it. If not, you can watch it on the KCAC network, and should be quite the football game. You talk about the gauntlet that is the Kessinger division: Bethel, McPherson, Evangel, Southwestern, Friends, and Bethany. I mean, you start thinking, man, what were they thinking when they made these divisions? I mean, because it is a a very, very strong division. I guess one of them had to have, if you looked at it, with the adding of Evangel, somebody had to have them in their division,
right.
And based on how the format for deciding divisions with the last couple seasons, but it is definitely going to be tough, and you guys are going to be in a little bit of new territory within that, not just at the last week of the regular season, but should be definitely some great football in the second half of the season from the Threshers. So McPherson this week. Heck of a ball game. Last year you guys were down at halftime 13-0, and then you kind of flipped the game on its head, shut them out, and your defense came up big in that one, and then were able to get a couple touchdowns, and especially one late. I just remember, everybody, that was the first home game that you come back and you were the head coach, and it was so much you kind of felt like was new at the same time, and you had some new players as well, just kind of figuring things out. But this go around, especially having lost your last 2 home games you played this year, definitely want to again have a great game. And you mentioned McPherson. There's not really teams that blow them out.
No.
And they are, not no pun intended, they're dogs. They stick in, and they make themselves almost impossible to beat at times. But last year you talked about them, and they only lost games by 1 or 2 points most of the season. Mm-hmm. So definitely a tough opponent from the Bulldogs side of things. I guess for you guys, you mentioned a little bit of what you guys have to do against them in this game. Pressure is definitely a big factor of that. Tabor blocks. I mentioned Tabor blocks so well against you guys, and there were so many times where you guys were just a hair late getting to the quarterback, things like that. But I definitely looking forward to seeing how your team responds against McPherson this week. So. Coach, just to get back to, just kind of renewing everybody's mindset into this one, it's a brand new season. It's basically August again.
It is.
And,
sure.
Everything you've done, it kind of matters, but it really doesn't. In a way, you just forget about it and just go out there and just start over.
Yeah, you do. And what I keep, what I want our guys to understand is, that's the how blessed we are to be in this opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, it just happened to work out this way with Evangel coming in and then breaking it into divisions, the NAIA adding teams to the playoffs, so where the rankings didn't matter anymore. If you win your division, you're automatic bid, and it's like the stars are aligning for us to do something special and to kind of take it out of anyone else's hands but ours, right?
Right.
And I say that it's hard to talk like that when people think like, oh, well, they probably not playing their best. Well, that's okay, because we still have opportunity to play our best. And I reminded our guys about the disappointment that they felt almost 365 days ago sitting in an auditorium not being selected for the playoffs. I reminded our guys just about how in a few weeks there's going to be teams that want to cash it in. You know what I mean? In a couple of weeks here, there's going to be teams that they're done. They're thinking about next season. They're thinking about recruiting. They're thinking about where they're going to be working next year as far as the players who are going to be graduating, like what jobs they have and things of that nature. Like in a couple of weeks, and I told our guys, man, no, don't buy into that. Like, we have to want to keep playing. And that's the key, man. How bad do you want to keep playing? And I'm telling you, I think we got some guys who want to play, and we're definitely going to find out here in a little bit. We're going to find out who wants to play. Yeah. Because, if you want to keep playing, you're going to do anything you can, man, to keep playing and not make this thing end, man. I don't want it to end. You know what I mean?
Right. I
want it to end when we're ready for it to end. You know what I mean? I want it to end, if at all possible, in December. You know what I mean? Like, it's it's easy to sit here and talk like that. But I tell these guys, I remind them, look, it's not like the work wasn't put in, right? We know we work hard in the off season. we feel like we've got one of the hardest off seasons in the conference. We truly feel that way. We know we work hard in the preseason. We know we have a good summer program. We know we practice hard, right? And I told these guys, so it's not like we're starting this new season and it's like, oh, well, we're starting new, we're starting fresh. Now we got to get, we've got to find a way to be this good. No, it's there. I just told our guy, we got to dig down deep. We got to dig down there and find it because we stored it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like storing something up for the winter, right?
Right.
We stored it up. What we need, we have. We just have to dig down deep, and we got to find it and put it on our backs and go.
Yeah. A lot of what I took away from what you just said was just basically tomorrow isn't promised. It's and you have some guys that are fifth-year seniors that know everything about that because guys that have just haven't things taken away from them in the last couple of years when they have put in all the effort in and they deserved more exactly. So I mean, no doubt those guys can be the engine to that for your team to get things moving quite a bit. So yeah, I mean, there's guys that are on your roster that only have 5 games left in the Thresher uniform. Yeah, for sure. And 5 games guaranteed, and 2 home games. That's it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, how did they want to be remembered?
Yeah, for sure. You said a word, deserve, right? And I saw a quote from a wrestling coach who a good friend of mine, Eric Guerrero. I saw a quote from he had put it up on his Instagram, and it was like, people rarely get what they deserve. He was like, forget the word deserved, go earn it. And that's kind of what I feel like. Yeah, we feel like we deserved it last year. We didn't get it. So forget what we deserve. Go earn it. Go take it. You know what I mean? Go kick the door in. Like, I'm telling you, I'm fired up. I told somebody, I said, hey, man, if I was playing this week, I would 100% guarantee a win. I said, if I was playing this week, I would 100%. I look dead in the camera and I say, I guarantee a win. I said, but since I'm not, I guarantee you there's a 50-50 chance that we win.
As always, right? I mean, I mean, if you don't even have a small bit or that whole mentality, there's no point going out there because I mean, you play to win the game. Yes. It's pretty simple. You want to make the best of your situation and you want to continue to grow as well at the same time, but also you want to have something to look back on and for the guys that are older and just say, I gave everything I have, I don't have any more left.
That's it.
Nothing left.
And I feel like if we do that, we're a hard team to beat. I feel like we're competitive in every game. We've been competitive in every game that we've played for a long time. Here at Bethel College, and so like I said, man, that's a recipe for success when you put it all together. And this second half of the season, that's the goal. Like you said, put it all together, give everything you have, be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, I've got nothing left. That's it. And if we do that, I feel like we're gonna have an opportunity to win a lot of football games this half of the season, and let the chips fall where they may. We'll take it, whatever we get. If we give all, we'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be something to observe from wherever you are, just to see how the Threshers write their own story the rest of the way. So it definitely will be interesting. Again, this week's game against McPherson is a 6 o'clock kick on the KCAC network. Just kind of giving you a little bit of the logistics of the schedule the rest of the way. October 14th is the next game. Then the 21st, Bethel is at Southwestern for a 1:30 kick from Winfield at Southwestern. Then Bethel plays their final regular season home game against Friends on a senior day. That is October 28th, that Saturday at 1 p.m. And then the last 2 games of the regular season in November, the 4th and the 11th, both 1 o'clock games, but they're on the road at Bethany and then at Evangel. So it should be a great 5 games coming up. You're going to blink and the season's going to be over. And I blinked and here we are through 6 games.
Yeah.
And it's just been unbelievably fast. And some people may disagree, depending on how things are going with their life in that tempo. But I can tell you that. Everything is just flying by. And
in the words of Coach Gratter, man, the days are long, but the years are short.
Yeah. I mean, I remember telling myself, I was like, when you're in college, you look and say, I have to do this many credit hours in 4 years, and that's not the way to look at it. You take it day by day, week by week, and then it all adds up.
Oh, yeah.
You'll have time, to the end of the semester. It goes by faster than you think.
Yes.
I mean, it really does. And, that was something I had to come to as a realization myself. But, as student athletes, they're tested not just athletically but just academically. And I remember at the junior college levels, those guys had meetings until 9 or 10 o'clock at night and supposed to get rest and get up and lift in the morning and then go to class. And it's quite the rigorous process. It's like getting wrung out. Everything you have is out there for so long. But I can tell you that every bit of it is worth it.
Yes, sir.
Every single bit of it is worth it. Sometimes you have to tell yourself that as well, but even when you're not even a college student or anything like that, and it's just a part of life. So there's your philosophical moment. We haven't had one in a few weeks, Coach. But I wanted to add something. I teased it earlier this season. I just kind of, being around things on road games. I shoot video behind the scenes and stuff. And you guys have, kind of a way to connect the program with the spiritual side of things and the faith. Not just, everybody prays the Lord's Prayer, on a daily basis, and things like that. But I thought it was really cool that it's not an effort to be cute. The prayer that you kind of came up with for your team before every game, and then whether you want to say it now or not, I mean, I'm going to have video of it once the season's over. So it's really cool. I'll just say that much. But man, it just, you get chills. So
I do want to give credit. I did. I'd heard it done before, and just kind of obviously tweaked it for Bethel College. But it's just something, man, that I feel like gets people in the mindset. Gratitude. You know what I mean? To be able to play this game that we love, for the institution that's across our chest, So it's just gratitude, being thankful is just kind of one of those things that, we put together, get them in the mindset of, man, I'm grateful to be here, calming nerves a little bit. I'm grateful to be here, and I'm ready to go and play this game, So
I think obviously they have to keep it pretty simple. You're going out to a football game, but so many things have been, so much effort and work, not just by themselves, but so many people have put the bricks on the wall through the years.
Yes, for sure.
And it's representing this brand of things, and it absolutely can't be forgotten.
Yes, sir.
Some people want to take things to new heights. They don't realize how much work has been done already. And I tell you that. I mean, as long as people hold on to the work ethic that got them where they have been, it's going to pay off.
Amen. That's another philosophical moment. I'm right here with you, Dan. Amen. Amen, for sure.
That's for sure. So I think that will wrap up our show this week, because I'm running out of it a little bit. These have been some interesting days as well. It is something else. I've been, putting my voice through the ringer a little bit, doing some high school and college football, but also doing some great volleyball games.
Oh my God! Shout out, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
My goodness, man, I'm a real fan. Not just because I work at Bethel College. If I wasn't at Bethel College, I'd be a fan of our volleyball team. Man, they just play the right way, and that's what the second half of the season, man. that's my prayer for our guys, man. You never hear football. You didn't think you hear football coach saying, "Man, I want our guys to play like those volleyball girls." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's the truth, man. I love the way they play, and man, I'm hoping that's what we see tonight from our guys. Just playing with great passion, man, and great love for the game and for one another. You know what I mean? And watching good things happen. That's what we're hoping for. So.
There we go. So, all right, Coach. Well, I'll let you do your thing here as we end the show, as always.
Yes, sir. Well, I've been thinking about that, and I will do it, but it's sincere. It's not just to.
Oh yeah.
Because I've been thinking about that. Like, man, am I just doing something? No, it's sincere,
No.
man. I really do, man. I love God, man, and Jesus Christ and the relationship, and that's something that I love to put out there and for people to know, because he's awesome. I'll just put it to you like that. And I definitely love my family and my wife. She is my rock and my backbone, and I love Bethel College and these football guys and you, Dan, everybody who does things to make this thing go. I really love them, and I appreciate everything. So thanks for doing this, man. And let's roll on with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm grateful for everyone, for the opportunity for me to be here. I wouldn't imagine, being here a fifth year already, and they've just kind of flown by. But I'm really grateful for the role I've played here as well. So it's been an unbelievable ride, and some great, outstanding people, some servant leaders that if you're ever looking for some, you come over here and you'll find some from Bethel College Athletics. So for Coach A.B. Stokes, I'm Dan Page for the Thresher Football Show. Until next time, roll on.